think when you start to get into PSA, that overwhelms a lot of handlers of the volume of training that goes into it to get that neutrality and that reliability of those commands without a correction. A puppy, I'm looking for certain traits, characteristics, behavior, drives that I hope will start to mature as an adult. So my tests are puppy tests because I'm trying to see if what I'm testing this dog will become. So with an older dog, a year older, 18 months older, those characteristics are already set. They're already developed or starting to be developed. So my test now will be geared towards that dog in front of me, not the possibility of what that might become, but now I'm going to be testing more the drive that's on hand, right? Now that puppy is a little older, he's a younger dog, my testing will be geared towards what I'm looking at that moment. I'll be looking for more thresholds, the prey threshold, a defensive threshold. They're a little closer to being final when they get older. With a puppy, I still have room to work. With an older dog, I have less room to work, right? I'm not developing as much. Their drives, characteristics, temperaments are kind of innate. They're already set a little bit, right? If we go to like the bite work aspect, if I'm gonna have a dog that I have to teach certain skills, I have to teach a pattern of how to search a room for a bad guy, how to search a hallway, how to search a warehouse. I want a dog then that is a little higher on the prey side, less on the defensive side, because prey is run, catch, kill, eat, right? I want a dog that I can teach with that drive, got it? But once there's an encounter, I can't have a dog that's so young or so naive to defense, he doesn't know that now there's gonna be a conflict at the end. So I need a dog that in the beginning when I'm picking it, a little higher in prey because I'm gonna teach, but enough defense later that once there's a confrontation at the end, the defense can come over. Defense is where I get the violence, the intensity of my dog. So when you pick a dog, you have to go, what characteristics do I need and what drives do I need? You can teach a defensive dog to search. It just takes it longer because that dog has to learn to keep its fire in its belly, right, lit, so it can hunt for that bad guy, right? So be very selective with what drives you need when you have to teach a dog to do something, right? I want a little higher prey drive, a little lower defense. Once we get done teaching, I then teach the confrontation at the end. I need enough defense, and then I bring that out. So now that dog, when he hits the encounter, brings the violence and brings the intensity, brings the aggression. You can get an older titled dog. You got to know where it came from and how they trained. But if you get a younger dog, you got to have a program that you're going to set that dog up for your training. That handler has to be, that team has to be reliable and consistent. So I, as the trainer, might go and pick a monster. And then I give it to Josh, and they never reach their potential because he's afraid of the dog. I like the dog, but I did not set my handler up for success because I got him something I like, but something that he can't handle. So when I pick dogs, I got to get to know the handlers, their personality. Are they loud like me or are they quiet like Josh? Right? You got to pick the right combination. So I got to go, all right, I'm going to pick a dog, not for me, but pick a dog for him. So I want, good balance, social, good temperament, all that good stuff. But I have to stop thinking that's what I want. I got to set my handlers up to be safe, reliable, and consistent in their work. So that sometimes is a hurdle for people that pick dogs. They pick the best, but maybe not the best for the handlers that they're picking them for. Testing in general, whether it's a puppy or a little older dog, if you perform a test and then he's a young dog, he's 12, 13, 14 months old, and I give them a test. And my program is 16 weeks long. I should not be failing the dog at week 12. Why? It means if I'm failing the dog at 12 weeks, my test is wrong. I should be failing that dog at the test. It should not take me 12 weeks to figure out that dog's not going to make it the whole 16. So if you are finding that you are testing, you're bringing these dogs in, and it takes you weeks to figure it out, they're not going to make it, you don't know how to test the dog. You're not testing properly. So you have to have a test that is showing you, is this dog, this young candidate, is it going to make it all the way through my class? Is it perfect? No, there's no test that's perfect. But I've seen too many times they go over, they don't know how to test the dog, they bring it over, the dog goes through months of man hours, money, time, and right before the end, they fail the dog. Your test is wrong. You got to make a better test. Whomever does it, the person has to be unknown to the puppies. It cannot be the breeder. And it's say I visited the puppies and they smelt me, they heard me. I'm not going to give the test. I'm going to be away and just observe through a window or look through the door. The test should be given to somebody that knows the test but is unknown to the puppies at all. Here would be one of like the tests I would do. The tester would come in and just put the puppy in the room and drop it. He would come over here, pick up 2 metal trash can lids. One time, smash them together. Would you guys want the dog that ran over and bit the guy? But what part of that dog's life are you going to be struggling with? Neutrality and obedience. So when we started PSA and I started testing puppies, boom, they bit me, I took it. Yes. And then I struggled because the dog wanted to kill everything and bite everything. So obedience is a struggle. So you don't always want the extreme unless you know the trouble and the obstacles that come with handling that dog. So we have changed what we value. Would you guys take a dog that just came over and sniffed you after you did it? I wouldn't mind that. A dog that comes over and maybe is looking at you but not showing aggression, I like that dog. He's not afraid, he's curious, but bang did not mean kill it. You can take that puppy, just know what you're bringing home and how to train it, and then know all the problems that come with it. Everybody thinks PSA is we got to have the craziest dogs because of the pressure. No, balanced, calm, neutral, confident, but not, right? That's more reactive. That's more, they're seeing ghosts, right? They're chasing ghosts, right? They're masking their insecurity or bad nerve with aggression. Got it? So you have to interpret what the puppy is doing and going, that looks like he wants to go bite that guy, but why? And if I take that home, do I have a club that can help me? And do I know how to raise that to be successful, right? So when you guys see videos online, they're trying to show you how extreme their puppies are because they want you to, oh, if he can take that at a puppy, he can take that as an adult dog. I don't know about that. I've tried it for 30 years. It don't work. I want calm, confident, clear-headed. I want something that can learn from me, but I'm not nervous that all of a sudden if he shoots a gun or he has a clatter stick and I stop him, he's going to turn around and come right back on me. I don't want that nonsense. That's the toughest thing, right? Because we all think what? We can handle that monster. They're biting you. I can handle. No. You want to be successful. You want to win. You want a title. There are no trophies for handling the driviest dog. There's trophies and there's titles for what? Winning. So you got to pick a dog that you're going to win with and be successful, not a dog that you're nervous that if somebody's too close to you, they're going to bite everybody. Those days are over. We don't need to breed that anymore. Got it? Same test, but I have different characteristics I'm looking for. I might look for a little bit more extreme, right? This is a sport. They're not shooting real bullets. They don't want to kill me. So if I'm going to get behind a dog and track you into the woods and you want to kill me, I might have a slightly different dog in front of me than one I'm going to walk out there on a sport field with. So again, my test is the same, but when I look at it, I'm going, is this a sport dog or is this a dog that's going to go into a building and might have to get into a gun battle with me and my boys going after a guy? I might test a little different. I think a lot of trainers, they'll do this. They'll take the dog in the parking lot, they'll give him a couple nicks or a couple prongs, and they hope that that residual of that correction lasts through their routine. Right? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You are going to make them, they're going to be wise to the collar. Got it? You're going to make them collar wise. So if you just take another year to condition him to all of the behaviors and push down your corrections to maybe 2, 1 in your session, it's not going to matter if he's wearing a collar or not, because he's going to be so conditioned to those behaviors, it'll be automatic. He won't be able to not do those behaviors. For me, they're going to wear the new piece of equipment for at least a month before I start to use it. You don't want to be too clean and correct with the prong, because you'll never be able to get in good corrections with the E. So I don't go to 100% perfection with the prong, because then I'll never have opportunities to give an E-collar correction for the same behavior. So I might get 70% perfect in a sit or a recall or an out, so I still have 30% of the behavior that now I can introduce the E-collar to it. Okay. Right? Too many people, which is fine, with the prong collar, they do amazing, but when you start to do distance work away from you, I'm not having a 100-foot line with me so I can give a prong correction. But if the dog is too good, too correct, too understanding of behavior, I'll never get the opportunity to teach him what the E-collar is, the same as the prong. So I still leave some of my behaviors not perfect or finished, so then I can blend old before new, and I can still get in good E-collar corrections so the dog understands it. So when they get away from me, I'm not having to use super long lines. I can then use my E-collar. But eventually, he's gonna have no collars on him. I don't put a first saver or a choke chain on, honestly. Whatever goes on his neck has purpose. So that would just be a collar for me that would be, I would introduce it quickly, but he would not wear that, because in the 2s and the 3s, they're not gonna have collars on at all. I think handlers and trainers at sometimes don't understand the volume of training you have to do before you step onto the field. Got it? So if I get a puppy, I'm waiting till the puppy is 2 to 2.5 before I ever walk on the field for a PDC. So it has had 2.5 years of doing behaviors. I am not worried that if my dog isn't wearing a collar on the field, it's not going to perform those behaviors. I handled 4 dogs in 20 years. They tracked, they did either drugs or bombs, and they bit people. So I think that if you pick the right dog, you pick the right handler, right? Your dog, if they can do detection, I also think whatever trailing, tracking you want to call it, and protection, 100%. I think when you pick an amazing dog and you limit it to bomb work, There's so much other that that dog can do in the bite work aspect or the patrol aspects. I think they can do both, if not three things, right?